Okay, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Lovely to see you. So we will have a short guided meditation followed by whatever questions you may have. So for now, just sit comfortably, relax your body, mind. Welcome your experience, whichever way it's appealing to you. There's nothing that you need to do. Simply be without knowing what that is. Allow being to be. No effort is needed. You are this invisible, formless, aware presence. Which hears these words magically. Like the wide open sky. Thoughts appear, bodily sensations appear. All is well. There is nothing you need to do. In being and as being, which is your experience. There is no separation. You do not exist as a separate entity. There is no division within your being, within you. Like the flow of a stream. There may be various wavelets, bubbles, a certain movement within the flow. But the stream is one stream. Moving within itself. Playing There is no division within the stream. Similarly, there is no division within your being. Everything appears to you, you being this invisible wholeness, this invisible totality. Everything appears within your globality. Your globality is your borderless presence in this moment. In every moment. The reality of your experience is not that which appears on the screen. It is the screen itself. Which is invisible to the mind. And yet the mind is nothing else but the screen moving within itself. There are no thoughts without consciousness, awareness. There are no perceptions or sensations without you, awareness. Not you, this imaginary entity, not you, this imaginary character with a history, but you, this transparent, aware presence. The reality which perceives, which knows it is. I know I am. And I know that I know. This self-knowingness, which is inherent to you, inherent to consciousness. The person which you imagine and feel yourself to be is simply a movement within awareness, within consciousness. images on the screen, a movie on the screen. You are that which perceives the movie. You are not somebody in the movie. You're not a particular character on the screen. You are the reality of the character and the reality of all characters. The screen is the reality of the movie. The stream is the reality of the wavelets. Although you are this borderless presence, you imagine yourself to be a separate entity, a woman, a man, a person. You experience various thoughts, some of which may be scary and trigger various sensations within the body. You may perceive some terror at times, feeling terror. But this terror is only a section of white water in the river. As the river flows, gently, sometimes it comes upon a different terrain, rocky, descending terrain. The water rushes and splashes against the rocks in many different directions, creating some whirlpools. Noisy, loud sounds. Just an appearance within the river. Part of the flow. There is no issue. The river doesn't try to get rid of the white water. It doesn't argue with the rapids or the waterfalls. Similarly, various sensations may arise within you due to the belief and feeling to be a limited mortal self. What is going to happen to me tomorrow? What is going to happen to me after the death of the body? The body-mind gets agitated upon hearing these questions. The body-mind gets fearful as a result of being identified as a mortal entity, somebody who is born and is bound to die. Can we lovingly, gently make room for such thoughts and bodily sensations, knowing that they are part of the river, a temporary passageway, and that we are the river and not the rapids. We are all of it, but we are not any particular wavelets or any particular part of the river. We are the entire river. You are not what you imagine yourself to be. You are not a storyline, a narrative made out of thoughts and images and sensations. Thoughts, images, and sensations appeal to you out of the mystery. You are this transparent, formless, and borderless, aware presence, which is and knows it is, which hears these words and knows it is that which perceives and not something perceived. So if you have any questions, anything that you would like to explore, you're welcome to turn on your video and unmute yourself. There is also a reaction icon on the bottom of the screen if you'd like to raise your hand or simply pose whatever question you may have. So any questions?
I have a question, not exactly a question.
Yes, okay.
I don't have a question, but I'd like to thank you for when I'm listening to you speak. I thought I'd just share my feeling, and that is just the truth has a certain ring to it, and whenever I'm listening to you speak, part of me just realizes that I'm in the right place, and my energy just kind of unease settles out, and I'm very grateful for what you have to say. Thank you.
Hey, Maggie, I got a question.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, I want to turn my video on. I'm in the car. I'm not driving though, so.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, really, thank you for the meditation today. And So would you say that, and I love your analogy with the movie thing, because I went to see the Tom Cruise movie the other day, and I don't normally go to movies anymore, but I wanted to see all the action stuff because I know he did a lot of his stunts. And I got so caught up in the actual, like the jumping over the cliff on the bike. And I got so caught up in it. I was actually feeling myself like as if I was in the movie, as if I was Tom Cruise. Yeah, that'd be nice, right? So, my question is this. So in that moment, I realized, well, I'm watching a movie, but I still felt the emotions in the heart, in the body, all the stunts I was talking about. So my question is, so I want to sort of bring this back to what you were saying about, we're watching a movie. So is it enough just to keep reminding myself in my day-to-day life that whatever's happening to my body, mind, is really just like I'm watching a character in a movie, and I just have to remind myself over and over that I'm just watching this. This is really just a movie playing in my it's an experience being played out in the self, in the one big self. Is that enough to do, just to keep going back to that over and over and over?
Well, if it's your experience that you're perceiving, you are the perceiving element of the thoughts, of the sensations of the world. You're the perceiving factor. Yes, I mean, when you remind yourself and you also notice that it is actually your experience. Like right now, you are that, whatever that is, which is perceiving this perception. It's actually, it lines up with your experience. So you remind yourself, and it brings you to the experience of being, of consciousness, of the screen of awareness. Then it's a moment, it's an experiential moment of your true nature. You see. So yes, initially we remind ourselves, wait a minute, I am not the character on the screen. I'm not somebody who is existing in time and space. I am not the memories. There are memories, there are thoughts, but I'm not on the screen. I am that which is perceiving the thoughts, which perceives the memory, which perceives the sunset, which perceives the world. You see? In time, this recollection brings you to the experience of being, of presence. And in time, you don't need to recollect so often, occasionally, yes, but your default experience is reestablished. Your default experience is not, I am Frank. I am Frank is a download because you are not Frank. The body is Frank. You're not a man. The body is a man body. Let's say. So that's not your default mode. That's a learned, that's a download that has been programmed in the body mind. And we have identified ourselves. We mean that which we are, consciousness, presence, being, the formless reality, has identified itself with a certain body of thoughts and memories and sensations and ambitions, etc., has identified itself. But that's not your default mode. Your default mode, or the natural state, is this effortless presence. Is that the reality which perceives, which is not an object, which is not male or female. Yes. But this does not mean that you cannot enjoy the movie. In order to enjoy the movie, you forget yourself for a moment, and you're enjoying the meal. Wow, this is a really delicious meal. So you sort of identify yourself with the body, let's say, to enjoy the meal. But at the same time, you're not spending your whole time, eating. It's just a meal, you know. Or when you watch a movie, you forget yourself in the movie. You are Tom Cruise, and you're experiencing this out of body sensations of, and that's very lovely. It's a play of consciousness, because in fact all of it is consciousness. You can't experience a sensation of being Tom Cruise or being whatever you are without consciousness. You see, consciousness is always there. It's you can remove Tom Cruise and replace him with, somebody else. You can identify with somebody else in the movie, but you cannot remove consciousness. You cannot remove the reality which precedes the knowing element. And you are this knowing element 24/7. And this knowing element is not inside of the body or inside the car or inside the house. This knowing element is non-phenomenal. It's the noumenal aspect of your experience is there. It is the understanding. It is the knowingness. It is the love. Love meaning nothing is separate from myself. It is all myself. You see? Like when you have.
So even though, sorry to cut you off, because I'm sort of I'm still a little bit confused about this one aspect of all this. So where the awareness of all of what we see, what we call phenomena, but we're also creating it. Is that right? This is the part I just still don't really understand. We're creating it, and is this kind of a midpoint where we go from we say, okay, we're aware of all this stuff, but we're also it. We're also what we're looking at. It's all the same. Is that?
Because everything you perceive is made out of you. You cannot perceive something which is apart from you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In order to perceive something, there has to be a meeting. In this meeting, when there's a meeting, there's zero distance. You and that become one in that moment of meeting. So there is nothing that you experience which is not you. Everything that you experience is in fact made out of yourself, made out of consciousness. So in terms of the creative aspect, you need to realize that everything which appears to you instantaneously. You cannot experience something a minute ago or experience something a minute from now. You cannot step back in time a second ago and experience something, or go into the future a second from now and experience something. Your experience is always now. There is no time in now. There is just being. So everything that you experience is made out of being, and being is you. You don't stand apart from being. You don't stand apart from your experience.
So Maggie, why is it important to always go back to the part of being instead of, because we get lost in the phenomena, but why is it important to go back to, if it's all us, if it's all one, why is it important to go back to the noumenon as opposed to staying, as opposed to being aware of the phenomena?
You don't need to. If you are aware, knowingly aware that it is all I, you don't need to do anything. The only reason we need to return to the noumenon, meaning that the reality of all that is perceived is I consciousness, and the noumenal aspect is the reality of the phenomenal aspect. The only reason why we need to do that is because we go back to the model where I am a phenomenon, I am the body, I am a person. Okay. And when we get lost in our thoughts and emotions and sensations about being a person, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? We only because of that belief do we need to recollect that, wait a minute, these are just a stream of thought. These are a stream of sensations appearing within I being the noumenal, the non-phenomenal reality, the perceiving element, the knowing factor. So you are correct in that once you are not defining yourself as somebody, a son, a father, a brother, a whatever, as long as you're not defining yourself. I mean, the body is what it is, but I'm talking about yourself, I, the self. As long as you're not defining yourself or identifying yourself in any way, you don't need to recollect anything. You don't need to go back to the noumenal. What for? You already are the noumenal. In the absence of being phenomenal aspect, you are the noumenal. This is your natural state. Our natural state, our reality, is invisible. Our reality is this invisible awareness, which is aware, perceives the screen, but is not perceived. I know I am, but I don't perceive I as something. I don't perceive myself phenomenally, but I know myself. I am. It's undeniable. I am is undeniable. I know that I am. And I know that I know that I am. And all of that is noumenal. Of course, I also know that this is a male body. You know, mom and dad call this male body Magdi. I know that as well. I know this table is made out of wood and etc. The color of this wall. But the knowing about myself is non-phenomenal. If you know yourself phenomenally, then you need to ask yourself, what is it that is knowing itself phenomenally? If I know myself to be in male form, what is it that knows that? It is I that knows that. So which I am I? Am I the male form that's appearing to me that I say I am? Or am I the reality which perceives that form, which perceives that thought?
Yeah. Great. Thanks, Meg. That helps a lot. I really, one more step towards enlightenment. Yeah, I heard something the other day. I just want to add this. Somebody the other day said that you can't fit form into formlessness, and that really hit a spot with me. Like, yeah. So I sort of like I imagine that, you know, when I go back to the noumenon, let's say, and I think, okay, so we're all it's just one seamless being. So to put in little forms into the formlessness, it doesn't make any sense. So that's been helping me a lot to undo all the you know, the stuff. Anyway, thanks. I'll pass. Thank you.
And the form that there is a tree, you know, and we say, oh well, there are branches, there are leaves, there is a fruit. All of that is a conceptual. We conceptualize various pieces, you know. And it has its purpose. It's a purpose of communication and playfulness. So there's a creative aspect in conceptualizing forms. But what matters is to know that there is no way to conceptualize being, to conceptualize consciousness.
Yeah.
It is the primary element, the primary factor. You can conceptualize downstream in the realm of perceptions and meditations. But the buck has to stop somewhere beyond any conceptualization.
Yeah. Gotcha. Thank you, Maggie. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Okay. Any questions?
Hi, Magdi.
Hello, Mark.
Whoa. Hi. I think I got this figured, but I'll bet you may have more light to share. What's been kicking around for this body mind is looking at there's the times when I'm around others, not right now, but I mean if I'm out somewhere, and the conditioning is to see the differences,
Is the
and it's
what?
that to see the differences, I
Yes.
think, is my conditioning. And I guess there's really nothing wrong with seeing the differences as long as the true sense of identity is that there is a unity. I'm that's why I'm kind of going to want to get your
Yeah.
thoughts on this, because I'm obviously not real clear. But there are times when, and I'll finish with this question. There's times when seeing the differences puts me at a separation, right?
Mhm.
And then but the counter to that is that whatever my conditioning is tells me, well, you need to be afraid if there's certain differences between this body mind and others. Then there's a you need to be staying away, and some of that is just probably practical common sense, depending on what situation we're in. But I want to get closer to the sense that there's no separation. I guess that's,
Mhm.
if that made any sense. I think I'll stop there.
On a certain level, there are differences between body minds. We come from different backgrounds and different family structures, different social strata. We have different sensitivities and different preferences, and different political views, and different bodies. So at that level, there are differences. So it's perfectly fine to see differences. It would be unhealthy not to. I mean, it's important to have clarity about what these differences refer to. Now, there are some differences that, as may sometimes affect us. If we have a neighbor who is extremely right-wing, or is extremely into Jesus and wants to convert you to, it's a pain in the butt. Every time you say hello to them, they want to convert you to their sect or their beliefs or their ideas. The thing is, we know that there is one consciousness, one reality. Like the base color is white, but this white color contains the entire rainbow of colors, billions of shades of colors within the white color. If you run it through a prism, or when you see a rainbow, it's infinite colors. So in life we navigate based on the senses, and based on our intelligence, and also based on our understanding about consciousness. When we perceive ourselves to be a limited personal consciousness, we're also perceiving the other as having a limited personal consciousness. And we are immediately plunged into fear, worry, and concern, the sense of lack and fear of dying, fear of anything. As soon as we have some identification, there is worry and concern, because that which we are identified with is subject to time and space. So then there is worry and concern about that. If we're identified with the body, with a particular mindset, mind belief, if we identify with a particular religion or a particular party, we are alienating ourselves from our true nature. We don't need to identify. We may have a leaning towards a certain understanding about how the world, the nicer world, if we were all less focused on this, on our own personal wealth, if we're more global in our thinking, we may have this tendency within us, and it's a beautiful one. I agree. I feel that way personally. But the world is as it is. It appears to you not as you wish it. It appears to you whichever way consciousness, whichever way you're creating it, whichever way it has mystery in it. There is a lot of things we don't know. But we don't know them because it's more fun not to know. To be surprised, to be offended, it's different. You can be offended without the sense of separation. Somebody can be hurting a pet, and it offends you, Francis talks about the sense of outrage. You experience outrage, my goodness. But this does not mean that we're experiencing separation. The sense of separation always relates to I am somebody. But in fact, you're not somebody. You are this aware presence that right now perceives this perception. But when you are somebody, then you're worried about, okay, is my neighbor going to like me? Am I going to be safe in my relationship with this person or that person? Am I going to be safe in this community? It's not that the community, there is an issue with the community. It could be a very safe community or it could be a very unsafe community, but that's not the point. The root cause of your sense of feeling unsafe or feeling separate is you somehow in this moment are overlooking that you are the invisible self. And somehow in this moment, you may be choosing that, okay, I am Mark, I am this person, and I have a future, and I hope I have a happy future. I have relationship with my neighbor. I hope I have good relationships, or better relationships. So identify yourself with the body mind. In the absence of identifying yourself with the body mind, in the absence of any identification, you are this peaceful presence. There is no separation. This does not mean that you're going to interact in life in the same way. You're going to be no. Some things will make you laugh. Some things will upset you. Some things will offend you. Some things you want to do and be part of. Some things you don't want anything to do with. Let's say. But that has nothing to do with separation. That has to do with differences. As you said, there are some distinctions. And we have an intelligence and we have a tendency. Some people like to be in groups, and some people like to be alone. Some people like to knit. Other people, they have to go and play bingo with others. This relate to the play of the body mind, how you feel, what triggers, what you enjoy doing. But there is no fear in that. And if you think, okay, well, I will enjoy the company of this person, then you seek the company of this person. You may enjoy it, or you may find out, oh my goodness, it's a big mistake. I really don't enjoy this person after spending 10 minutes with them. Then you somehow wiggle your way out of the relationship. No skin. There is no skin. You left no skin, or something, whatever the expression is. So, in terms of separation, it's always I exist in time and space. I exist in time and space. But you don't exist in time and space. Time and space exist in you. It's in you. So, we don't have life figured out. Life is going to appear to us. We don't know how. So we play it, we don't know. If the ball is kicked that way, maybe we're gonna run and catch it. Maybe it's gonna be too far from us and we're just gonna let it go. We don't know how it's going to manifest. But at the moment that life manifests for us, in whichever way it appears to us, we do our best to relate from in the moment, hopefully without defining ourselves, without making our happiness, our peace and happiness dependent on anything. Why would you make yourself dependent on anything? Why would you make yourself? There's only one self, your true self in you. Why would you make you dependent on anything? Why? We know the body depends on food, on friendship, on exercise. Okay, that's the body. I'm talking about you. Why would you make you subject to, oh my God, will they like me? What are they going to think of me? Will I succeed in this? Will I not? No. You engage in life without making anything having power over you. You meaning consciousness, not you, the body. There's a lot of things that have power over the body. Heck, somebody who's more muscular than me can have power over me and push me down to the ground. That's just at the body mind level, you see. Of course, I'm going to avoid such people. If I know ahead of time, if somehow I detect ahead of time their malevolent intention, I'm going to avoid them. But maybe I won't detect, ahead of time, and they will push me to the ground. I don't know. So you're not the body mind. You're not subject to the world body mind. The world body mind is subject to the consciousness. And we enjoy this game. We enjoy life. as much as we complain about it, we enjoy it. We enjoy our sorrows, we enjoy our loneliness, we enjoy our happiness, we enjoy our depression, we enjoy our stories, we enjoy our complaining, we enjoy hanging out with friends, we enjoy what we are doing. We do. We really do it if you really enjoy it.
Thank you. Helpful.
Any questions? Well, thank you all very, very much to be with you. Thank you for your company, your friendship, and your love.
Thank you, Magdi. It's beautiful.
Thank you, Madam. Maggie, thank you.
Thank you.